Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Farhan, also known as Gunner Since 96, and you are watching my matchday build-up video where we are hours away, about 5 hours away from playing until we play Southampton at St Mary's in the Premier League. Second time in 3 days, hopefully second time lucky. Obviously, you know, in the first game in the FA Cup, we lost 1-0. An abysmal performance, an abysmal team lineup. Well, I say abysmal is probably the best that Arteta could do, but today we will see something completely different. I'm convinced of that, and hopefully the result will replicate that. Before I start, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that took part in watching the video that I released yesterday. I say took part, really given up their time to watch that video, because now we have reached, at this moment in time, 1.2k, and obviously it's the first video that's reached 1,000 views on my channel, and that is a massive achievement for me. So, you know, I really want to say a big thank you to everyone that took their time out to watch that video, to share it, to like the video as well, and to those that have been subscribing to the channel as well. It's been massively humbling. Woke up this morning, checked my phone, and it was on 1,000 views, and I was like, whoa, you know, this is a bit mad, especially for a channel that's only got 175 subscribers. It's crazy, but it's great, and it's a real motivator to allow me to continue to make these videos, because I guess it's an indication to show me that people are enjoying it. I hope they are anyway. If you are enjoying these videos, let me know in the comment below. If you could all start off by liking this video, that would be absolutely incredible. Continue to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, please do, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I release a video. Thank you very much. We are going to start off today's video by talking about Arteta's press conference. That was the press conference that was released yesterday, but recorded after the FA Cup game. So obviously they release it in chunks. They obviously released the first part after the game, and then a little bit more about the game today, which is released a day or two before the actual game itself. It's a lot of games. I hope you're able to keep up. So he starts off by talking about, I'm not going to talk about everything. It will be the main important things that I think is worth talking about. The first thing was learning about the opponent. He starts by saying both teams will have learnt. I don't think any manager will like to play the same opponent twice. We have already analysed to make things better in the next game. So essentially what he was saying was, yes, we have learnt about the opponents. The opponents would have learnt about us. We would have spoke about some things, we would have analysed some things, and big improvements need to be made. I really do hope that Arteta has learnt a few things about his opponents, because it seemed as if they weren't prepared for that game at all. And if they were prepared for that game, the players on the pitch were not delivering what they should have been done. I released a video a couple of days before we played Southampton, an opposition analysis video where I analysed the way that they play football, how they've been getting their points, their strengths and their weaknesses, and they displayed that in that game. High pressing team with high intensity, playing possession football, patient build up, and being able to break down our defence way too easily. And Arsenal just fell into that trap. So it's a little bit worrying to hear Arteta say that they have learnt a few things, really and truly. They should have known what Southampton were going to do from the very off. Nothing new. I didn't see anything new that Southampton did that they haven't been doing all season. So, you know, it's a little bit frustrating to hear that from him, and to especially see the response from the players on the pitch. You know, I mean, what it showed me was that these players clearly aren't interested in progressing in the FA Cup. And so if we don't see a change in performance tonight, I'm going to be quite peed off. Because if anything, Arteta was telling all of us that he was prioritizing the league and the Europa League. So I hope that is the case. He spoke about Aubameyang. There was a question asking about whether he will be out for longer than this game. We know he will be out for this game, but if he is out for longer than today, will that cause a massive problem for us? Arteta responded by saying, of course, he's our top player, he's our captain and our most important player. I just want to talk about the repercussions of Aubameyang not being in the first team squad. I think this is a really, really big opportunity for players that might not have been able to play if Aubameyang was in the squad to really show what they can do. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise, because I understand that Aubameyang just picked up his form by scoring those few goals in the last few matches. I understand that his performance has been really good lately, but it wasn't very long ago when fans were, I was one of them, questioning whether he should be starting games. And so if we're looking into the future, and if we're looking at a post-Aubameyang era at the Emirates, which is not too far away, this will be a really, really good opportunity to see whether the players are able to step up, most notably Martinelli, who will most likely start in that position on that side. I do expect him to start, and this will be the chance that he's been waiting for. He needs to grab it with both hands, and if Aubameyang is going to be out for the next 2 or 3 games, then this is it. This is his time to shine. It is a real opportunity for players to put on their big boy boots and go out and perform, and to give Arteta a headache. On Martinelli, he did come off early on in the Southampton game, which I guess shows me 2 things. Number 1, maybe his performance wasn't good enough, and number 2, maybe Arteta is trying to save him for the game coming up in the Premier League. He did come off quite early, and a question was asked about that. Why was that the case? Was it because of an injury or something else? And he said that it was purely a tactical decision. He missed a few training sessions because of injury. I expect big things from Gabby. He's been really helpful since joining after a long period out. So look, there is a mixture here. Clearly, it's going to take a bit of time for Martinelli to get back to his best, but also we need to remember that he is still a young lad developing into a potential superstar. So he's going to need a lot of time. He's going to need a lot of space, a lot of nurturing, and a lot of patience from the fan and from the coach. And so taking him off early on, for me, I would have kept him on personally, maybe taken off Pepe instead, or Willian. But to take him off that early on, after 10 minutes of playing in the second half, would have knocked his confidence a little bit. It's a little bit disappointing, but if he can start tonight, which I'm certain he will, then this will be really, really good for him to be given more minutes to get up to scratch. Excuse me. Up to scratch with things, and to be hopefully returning to the kind of form he was in when he got injured. Finally, he spoke about Southampton's pressing style. There's a question about it, the way that they play, the pressing style. How are we going to be able to cope with this? Did we know that they were going to play this type of football? And Arteta answered by saying they're one of the most effective teams doing things like that, as we are. I want to talk about that because that really surprised me. We're expecting that for sure, and we're expecting that on Tuesday. If you're expecting Southampton to play that style of football, I'm sorry, but then you need to adapt to trying to counter that style of football, as in trying to break that style of football down, trying to stop them in their tracks. I didn't see any of that on Tuesday. In fact, what I saw was a really, really naive football team who didn't know what Southampton were going to do, and that were struggling to keep up with the pace. Everyone knew, anyone that analysed a game of football knew what Southampton were going to do from the very start of that game. They were going to press high. They were going to put pressure on as soon as we get the ball. They were going to press high up the pitch as well, high intensity. We know what type of football that they play. And to not do anything about that, to not try and counter that, to not try and take the game to them, just to sit back and allow the pressure to come onto us, was really, really naive and really, really frustrating. And to hear Arteta say that we knew what they were going to play, we knew what we were expecting, to see that first half of football, I don't think they did know what they were expecting. I believe this to be the case than the latter, but either the players on the pitch simply aren't good enough to cope with that type of football and therefore shouldn't be playing for a top Premier League side, or the message was not clear enough. Arteta did not emphasize the point of how they were going to play football, and I don't believe that. I think Arteta is a very, very smart man. He knows what he's doing. He's tactically shown what he's capable of doing, and personally, yeah, I just think the team selection was piss poor. They played their strongest side, and hopefully that will come to our benefit tonight. Okay, so let's move on to the actual game tonight itself. Looking at potential injuries, we know that there are 4 players that are out. Aubameyang's out for what reasons unknown to us other than it being personal. I hope he's okay. First and foremost, I hope whatever's happening gets resolved soon, and I hope he's able to come back at his best and the smiling, happy Opa that we know. Pablo Mari still out with a calf injury. I think he'll be out for the next few games. Ceballos is also out with a niggle, and most surprisingly, we're hearing that Kieran Tierney could be potentially one that misses the game tonight. I'm going to just quickly have a look because I forgot what type of it's not necessarily an injury, but it is supposedly, here we go, a right calf problem. Discomfort in the right lower leg. I'm not sure whether this is related to what the problem he had after the Newcastle game. I'm not sure whether it's continued to get worse, but I really, really hope he plays. I think to imagine an Arsenal team right now to play without Kieran Tierney is to imagine 50% of its creativity to be diminished and to be out the window, to go out the window. You only sort of, I guess Kieran Tierney is the type of player where you only realise what type of player he is when he's not playing. When he is playing, he does what he does every single week. There's no surprise. You expect him to do what he does. But when he's not playing, you realise how much you're missing from this guy. And so I just hope that I hope he comes on. I hope he starts. I hope he's okay. And I hope this is nothing more than, I don't know, an ache, a muscle ache, or a bruise, or maybe he just caught a cold from all the snow that he was playing in the other day. I don't know. But I'm hoping that he starts tonight, because if he doesn't start tonight, that's going to mess up the whole team lineup. It's going to mess up the whole shape and the way that we approach this game. Moving on to the team lineup, this is what I predict Arsenal to play. I'm not sure what Southampton will play. I very highly doubt that it will be as strong as it was in the FA Cup. If they do play the same team, then they'll be risking players who won't be 100% fit, players that could potentially pick up an injury as well. And I don't think Ralph Hasenhüttl is as naive as that. So I expect them to play a weakened side. I expect us to play our best side possible. Starting off with our goalkeeper, I expect Leno to start in goal, of course, being our number one. On the right, I expect Bellerin to start. In the centre, I expect Pablo Mari to start alongside Holding. This is a bit of a tricky one for me because I really, really want Gabriel to get back to 100%. I think he's a few games away. I think he just needs minutes under his belt to just get the rustiness out of him. So, look, as much as I would love to see Pablo Mari and Gabriel play together, I don't think it's possible because Arteta doesn't like playing two left-footed players together. So it will either be Mari or Gabriel. Oh, but hold on a minute. Isn't Mari is out? Yeah, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Mari's out with an injury. I'm so sorry about that. So it will most likely be Gabriel and Holding. Mustafi and Chambers will probably make the bench. Now, the left-hand side is the biggest question because you can either get Cedric to play there or Saka. I don't think Maitland-Niles will play there. If Maitland-Niles starts tonight, it will be on the right-hand side, but I doubt he will start. So I expect, my gut instinct is that Tierney will make it. Last minute fitness test, he'll make it, he'll be fine. If he doesn't, then I think Saka will play because he changed it around in the FA Cup when we were losing 1-0. He brought on, I forgot who he brought on. He brought on someone and he put, he brought Lacazette on and then Saka was playing on the left-hand side, left back. So yeah, I'm hoping that Tierney starts. If Tierney starts, that's great. If he doesn't, then Cedric will play there. I'm hoping. Because in this type of game, we need to exploit our attacking options as much as possible. We need to put them under pressure instead of them putting us under pressure. In the central midfield positions, I expect Partey to start alongside Xhaka. There's not many other options. And then our three behind the striker, Emil Smith-Rowe as a number 10. Saka playing on the left. And I'm hoping Pepe on the right. No, because we've got Martinelli now. So you've got Emil Smith-Rowe in the centre as a number 10, Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Lacazette up front. I'm not worried at all with our attacking option. I think as an attacking force, we will be fine tonight, and we'll put them under pressure. But what I worry about is our back four, and what I worry about is our ability to, in transition, when they hit us on the counter attack, to be able to get back into our defensive shape and to get Partey and Xhaka to be organised in the centre to make it difficult for them to break us down. Because in the FA Cup, they broke us down way too easily. It was way too simple for them. It was like one side of the pitch to the other with a click of a finger. And for me, that can't happen tonight. If that does happen tonight, then we will concede a number of goals. And so, yeah, that's my starting 11. I hope I'm right. It will be a shame to see Saka on the left, because if we do see Saka left back, then Martinelli will play on the left and Pepe will play on the right, which isn't the end of the world. But if you want to be as effective as possible going forward, play your strongest players that you know you can rely on. Now, how do I expect Arsenal to play this game? And how do I expect them to set up? Well, obviously it'll be a 4-2-3-1. We'll have our wingers being threatening down the sides. They will know that hopefully with Partey we can expect some unexpected passes, some going a little bit more direct than just pinging it down the flanks. Southampton, we know how they'll set up. In fact, I don't know. They might change it up a little bit. They might sit back and they might want to play for a draw, or they might want to play on the counter-attack. Again, Ralph Hasenhüttl is a very intelligent manager. He will know that he won't have his strongest team at disposal. They don't go into this game with very good form in the Premier League, having only won, I think, once in their last 6, the majority being draws. So I don't know. This is a tough game for them, and this is a real test for us. It will show us how far we've come, and actually this is the beginning of a very hard run of games. We got United on the weekend, then we got Wolves, we then got not to forget Europa League coming around as well, with a very tough opponent in Benfica. So look, we need to be at the top of our game. We need to take the game to them. It needs to be high intensity, high pressing. I don't imagine two teams being able to play high intensity, high pressing. If one team shows that they are going to be going at you 100 miles an hour, then the other team will sit off and by default play a counter-attacking style of football. It's foolish to have both teams playing that style of football. So if we can take the game to them from the very first minute, they will sit back and they will try and play on the counter. And we need to take advantage of being at the front foot, because if we don't get the early goals, I'd say in the first half, we don't at least get a goal in the first 25 minutes or so, we're going to allow them to grow back into the game, and, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. It will be a post-match reaction, hopefully a positive one. I'll be so upset if Arsenal lose this one. I really, really will, because if the intent from Arteta was to show us in the FA Cup defeat that we are prioritising the league and the Europa League, then 3 points is a must tonight. It's a must. I won't take a draw. I won't be happy with a draw, because he's showing that he's absolutely prioritising the league so that we can get top 4. And we cannot afford to drop points against teams like these, especially when we have our best squad available. Okay, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I release a video. Once again, thank you very much for all the continued support. It's been overwhelming and incredibly humbling. I hope that I can continue making content for you guys, and I hope content that you enjoy as well. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow with another video, post-match reaction. Until then, please stay home, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of the day, including the game. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.